Yes.
I know an important part for you is that the work has to be seen. Could you talk about that for a minute or two? Why is it important for the work to be seen?
The validation of it, validating, just like in a child, all of us have either done or witnessed a child coming home from school, a 6-year-old, look what I did. And then it goes up on the refrigerator. And that is so important. That is so important, that validation of that within us. That it does matter, that it is important. We're so into, I like it or I don't like it. That's the way the Westerner looks at a work of art. I like it or I don't like it. And move on to the next thing. A Chinese looks at it and says, where did the artist begin? What was the experience? Probably there, probably this happened. What was the experience that the artist had when they came up with that blue coming up like that? And letting the brush come up and down, and up and down. And then it goes around and up to the top, and there's a whole thing happening there that ignites the red and then comes down and makes this kind of a statement. This is where it's at. Now, that's the way. It isn't like or don't like. That's the way a Chinese would look at an abstract painting. So I recall in an exhibition of an artist's work, of abstract work, and there had been an opening, and a gentleman asked at the opening, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't understand this. What am I supposed to do with that? And the artist said, well, it took me a long time to get to doing this. It's going to take you a long time to do it.
Mom, if I could channel two people who have passed, Manny Santana and Mary Holmes, in order. Manny Santana once said to me that art is a conversation.
Yeah.
Right now, it's an art piece is a statement, and then to flip over to Mary Holmes really quick, that just because it's art doesn't mean it's good art.
Yeah.
Right? And Manny, to merge those two, just because it's a conversation doesn't mean it's a good conversation either. And sometimes the masculine objectified conversations aren't really worth that much because we've heard that. And the conversation that's happening in this building here through the art is something that's obviously a wonderful conversation to have.
Yeah.
Right? And but not all conversations are good conversations, and not all art is good art. So we don't have to be intimidated by the label art either. And there's a lot of art that is cathartic for the artist to make, and it's not that important for it to be shown that much. Maybe they just need to look at it alone in a room with it, with their own statement, and to hear that, to experience that resonance that they've created for themselves. And so it may not be good art. They may not be a great craftsman or craftswoman to have made that art piece, and that doesn't necessarily need to be shown to everybody, but it's an important conversation to have with them, their interior and exterior.
Very good, yes. Yeah.
I'm my mother's son, so.
Yes,
really?
I wanted to add one little piece to that because it's been so important for me.
Could you speak louder, please?
Yes, I wanted to add one little piece to that. Coeleen teaches us that validation is so important because it strengthens our ego. That when we stay behind and keep all of our art inside of us and we don't show it, we don't have that opportunity to feel that strength coming through, which in these times right now, we really need that strength because there's a lot of fear-mongering going on. And the stronger the ego, the better off we'll be.
That's wonderful. And the more clear you are about what you want to say, and doing that helps to get that clarity. Your own word is informing you all the time. All the time.
I want to say that I think also art sometimes, for somebody else, they see it and it's like a song where it's expressed a part of you that you hadn't realized needed expressing. So when someone sees your art and then there's that aha moment for them, like, oh yeah, this is how I feel too, that's also a nice validation.
Yeah. It always broadens my understanding. I'm pretty diligent about asking my students for feedback from my own work or my own collages because they're made from the right hemisphere of my brain, and that's the best. But then when I start talking about it, or I hear somebody else, what they see is like, how could I have not seen that? But it's just engaging in this part of the wisdom of it all. It's important. Nancy, did you have something on your mind?
I just had this question because there's the tendency when you start not to get too directed, because the point is to let your unconscious kind of guide you and pull the images out, make the collage, and not have a real clear idea of what you're doing. So I was thinking, how does that balance with, we have to know what we're saying, or why bother? Because if you know what you're going to say, what's the point of, if you already know what the image, where you're going, then why bother? And then if you but I heard you also say you have to know what you want to say. So I'm having trouble balancing those in my mind right now.
That's really good. That's a really good question. Because we can be so determined, about what I want to say. I'm looking for the nuance of is that really what I want to say. When I go into that a collage that's been an apple that's been bit, what does that look like? I know it's going to take me someplace else, and so I guess that's part of the invitation. Is that I've got the little thing trigger that's got me going that I want to know about, but it can also be why am I stuck right now? What does stuck look like? What does stuck look like? And the magazines will tell you, and then there'll be that thing. There are little clues, and it's like the lower left-hand corner or the follow the red, but and then it can change. Or I start with one thing and then something else becomes more important. Sharon, you have it.
Well, I was thinking that part of what happens for me is to develop my curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I pick that? What does it mean? What doesn't it mean? Why do I like it? Why don't I like it? Where is it going? Is it enough? I mean, just that whole element of curiosity and being open to saying, I don't have all the answers, but I can look and see what this path is in this image or that image, and that openness and the curiosity, and potentially this may reflect ego strength. Being willing to take on and say, oh, that's a dark picture and I picked it. What does that mean about me? But I think
inside the bag.
But I think that curiosity is a big word in my life and how I live.
It's yes.
I just wanted to know about your background when you were very small. Were your parents artists like you, or how you got into this?
Well, they were very supportive. In my book, I talk about writing my name with lipstick on an unruly wallpaper wall. That was just great. And my mother was very, she brought her friends in to see it, and I got the impression that this was wonderful, and probably I shouldn't keep on, with the whole room.
They give you paper or something, an easel, something instead
No,
of a wall.
that was the event itself. But there was another one that I didn't know about until Sabrina brought me the most wonderful book. If you have a child in your life that's, I'd say from 20 down, It's the story of Helen Frankenthaler's childhood. Oh my gosh, that is just a wonderful book. And she was clearly gifted as an artist, and her parents supported her doing art, and she loved to play with the colors. But when she went to school, the teacher started working on her to make it right. And she didn't like that, but she was a good girl. This carried on through art school. So she went to art school. This is still going on. She's a very good artist, but not having much fun. During those years, she had one of the things that she had done, to my surprise, was decorate their bathroom with nail polish. And it reminded me that I did that, and that my mother was having bridge club. I thought that it would be nice if the sink in the bathroom had flowers around the knobs, and so I did this with nail polish. And Mother brought her friends in, and they all oohed and ahed and thought it was so wonderful. So when they left, I said, well, if that was so great, I'll do the tub, and the tub was So I went through all the nail polish in the house, and I was never recommended for any of that. However, when I was accepted at the university, my father said, Coeleen will not go to the university. Coeleen will go out and get a job and bring some money home. And a few nights later at dinner, my mother was dressed more than usual at dinner, and my father commented, did you have bridge club today? And she said, no, I got a job today. Coeleen will go to school.
Oh, wow.
That's
And
wonderful.
that's so then when I went to school, to the university, Ivan Joseph, one of the professors from the University from Chicago Art Institute, said, you should be at the Minneapolis Art Institute. You go home and tell your parents.
Oh.
And so I did, and my father said, no, it's too much. You'll end up a poor artist. And no way. So I went back to Ivan Joseph and said that I couldn't do that. He said, well, then you're going to study with me for 4 years.
Oh.
And he did take me on. That's why I'm not afraid of glazes today. It was watercolor. He was diligent. He'll do watercolor. I want to do oil. He'll do watercolor. How about pastel? Watercolor. Because it's so hard. But I think it's why I'm comfortable with glazing. So it's not always an easy path. I often wonder what would have happened if I had gone to the Minneapolis Art Institute. It's a pretty good place. But I think the psychology of it has just become so fascinating to me. Something else came up from the collective that was needed. And I got tapped on the shoulder for this. Well, this is wonderful. Thank you. Thank you all.